Peace and blessings, YouTube family. Hope everyone has had a fantastic day today. It is certainly cool here in the city of hot Atlanta. It wasn't hot today at all. Very cool today, and from what I understand, is pretty much cool all around the nation right now. A very brief, temporary cool or cold snap. Probably more like a cool snap. I don't know if it's really a cold snap right now. I don't know if we got any snow going on around the nation, but from my understanding, this is only brief because next week it will be back into high 70s and in some places may even eclipse 80 again. So, hey, we'll see. Hey, listen, hope everyone has had a wonderful and fantastic day. I want to welcome you again to another edition from the Doctor's Corner. And I'm always grateful for each of you that come in here and view and have these conversations with me, right? I only ask that if you find something in here that could be useful, whether it's in your personal life or maybe someone in your circle, in your community, please smash that thumbs up for me. We certainly want to grow this channel, want to grow this community. Love for you to hit that subscribe button, and then of course hit that notification bell, and that way you'll know anytime I upload a new video, new content, new conversation. You'll be notified right away and have the best opportunity to be able to chime in. So listen, don't want to keep you long tonight. I just, as I look around, as I think you may understand and know a little bit about me at this point. In terms of as I see things as happening in our country, as I see things happening in our community, I often wonder in terms of, am I the only one who see what I see? Am I the only one who thinks what I'm thinking? And right now what I'm thinking is I want to send a message to America. And that message I want to send is stop blaming black men for everything, right? I mean, it's exhausting, family. It's exhausting that regardless of where you look, right? It's as if black men, we are the plague, we are the problem, the blame for every ills in society, right? Politically, we have on one side, they say, well, if black men don't vote for the Democratic candidate, they're endangering that candidate's opportunity for her to be able to win the presidency. And then on the other end, you have the Republican Party saying that basically the ills with all of our communities or is crime being committed by black men, right? So it's everywhere you look, it's black men. It's like we're this plague that's on society, and I got to tell you, so it couldn't be further from the truth, right? Were you aware that up until about 1960, black men were more likely to be married than white men? Did you know that? Interesting, isn't it? Extremely interesting. Right now, we have to look at that and say, what was going on in the 1960s? That would cause that level of change, right? So just want you to think about some things, family, as you see and you hear all of the different discussions out there today. My mother and I, we were watching football on Saturday, and a young man, I pray he's okay. I haven't had a chance. As a matter of fact, when I log off here with you tonight, I may go in there and attempt to look up this young man and see what his medical condition is. I certainly pray he's okay. And I think it was with the University of Vanderbilt. Young man got injured out on the field, and his parents, his dad and his mom, were standing there side by side. They rushed out on the field to check on the kid. And unfortunately, they had to take the kid out on a stretcher. I mean, he was unable to, and I don't know if it was for precaution or if he literally, didn't have any feelings in his legs or whatever. I don't know. The announcers did not say basically they will the student athlete, the football player off the field, put him into, he got in the vehicle with the paramedics and they took him to a local hospital. And so, but what I found interesting was, so his father and his mother standing side by side, hand in hand, concerned over their son, and the announcers only acknowledged his mother. I mean, it was just amazing, right? I'm sitting there with my 89-year-old mother, and we're watching this, and I said, now this is intriguing. I mean, this kid's father was, looked like he was every bit of at least 6'3", 6'4", right? You can't miss him, right? You can't miss him. And he's standing there with his wife. They're over their son, and there was no mentioning of his presence. All of the mentioning was on the presence of the mother, right? And I said to my mom, I said, isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing how, you hear all of those stories, right? Black men not there for their children, they're not there for their family, all of these different things. And here it was a pure, clear example of a black man standing there with his black wife, standing over their son. And it was as if he was invisible. One of the tallest figures on the field, including all of those other football players, right? I mean, this gentleman towered in height and no mention. And so I got to tell you, I've personally experienced that, right? As a father, I've personally experienced walking into my kids' school to check them out of school and, for a doctor's appointment or whatever. And then the school say to me, well, they had to call the mother. Even though on all of the cards, right, in terms of their legal guardian, their father, my information was all there. Everything was there. But the societies, was in such a way, it was pretty much the same way I'm talking about now with the football game, where that father was totally invisible. It was as if I was invisible. So I want to say to America, I want to say to the citizens of America, stop blaming black men for everything. Stop blaming black men for all of the ills in society. I think statistically, there are only about 22 million of us in this country. And so just statistically, when you look at that, there's no way 22 million men can be, these complete tyrants out of everything that occurs and happens in our community. There are bad actors across the board in every demographic, right? But interestingly enough, when we turn on our news channels and we open up the newspapers, those appear to be the only images we see, or the majority images that we see. So I just want to say to America, I want to say to the people of America, stop using and attempting to use black men as a scapegoat to avoid the real, true, hard conversations that we need to have, right? Because as a black man, I can tell you, I love my family just like anybody else. And I would probably say I would love my family probably in many instances even harder, right? And so in terms of being present, I can check that box, right? In terms of doing every possible thing I can to raise my children to be productive citizens in society, check that box, right? In terms of holding myself accountable and responsible and doing the best that I possibly can to move my community forward, I check that box, right? So with that, I just want to say in terms of it's exhausting. It's exhausting that at every turn to hear that if there's a major ill or major push that needs to occur, that, in some way, right? I mean, we hear it on the Democratic side where the Democratic Party makes it seem, or even the news people, maybe it's not just the Democratic Party, maybe it's just the news media, I don't know, that make it appear as if black men they have just totally revolted against the Democratic candidate, VP Kamala Harris. And when all of the other statistics tell you that over 89, almost 90% of black men, traditionally, certainly within the past 10 years, within the past decade, has voted for the Democratic nominee, right? And so I'm just saying, in terms of that, now, we can have a debate all day long on whether or not that was a good thing or not, right? We can debate about that. We can have a very healthy debate about that, right? I got a lot of personal opinions about that. But my point is, data does not support this whole level of black men are the problem, right? On the Republican side, you hear all of this about, in terms of the crime, right? And that picture that they put up on that side is always more than likely going to be someone of color, and more than likely going to be a black man, right? Stop it. Just stop it. Just absolutely stop it, because guess what? The majority of us are not criminals. The majority of us don't even have criminal records, right? And so with that, I just want to encourage everyone, when you hear that in your own circle, push back against that. When you hear that, when you see those narratives being created, and I'm talking to everybody right now. I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to all the women, all the men. I'm talking to everybody. If you're watching this, you're white, you're black, you're Hispanic, whatever your nationality is, whatever your race is. I'm saying, when you hear those narratives being presented, push back against that. Because I promise you, if you don't know of a black man that basically represents the opposite of all of those negative narratives, I would venture to say to you, you don't know enough people. You don't know enough people, because everybody in my circle, I'm a black man who lives in a black community. I live in a black world. So my whole life, right? My whole life, I've been amongst and in black communities. And I can tell you, I don't know all of these people that they put on the TV. I don't know all of these criminals. I don't know all of the stuff that they put. I don't know those people. I don't know them. Do I know of people who have committed crimes? Yeah, of course I do. Right? But none of those people in my circle. I don't see that in terms of how they make that the norm, right? So I'm just saying to America, stop blaming black men. Just stop it. Stop the marginalization of black men. Stop the undervaluing of black men. Stop it. Stop the underestimating of black men. Stop it, right? See us for who we are. And when we come to the table to produce, and if by chance we make a mistake, so we miss dotting that I, we miss crossing that T, guess what? Don't blow that up now and make that to be this big, huge scenario, whereas, the whole world is going to end when our counterparts can do the very same thing, and it's no big deal, right? I would even encourage you as black parents. You're raising your children out there today. Don't hold any of your children to this standard to where they have to be so perfect to where they can't make a mistake. Don't hold them to that regard. Don't hold your black boys to a level to where for them to feel that if they make one mistake, that their whole life is over. This is about black men right now, but I mean that's universal in terms of as it relates to your children. Period. I would say that should be for anybody, right? Regardless of whatever your race is. But right now, this message is to society as a whole, as it views and deals with us as black men. It's exhausting, family. It's exhausting that every time I turn on the radio or every time I turn on the TV, I have to hear or be confronted with some ill that in some way is black men's fault. Please stop it. All right, family. Until we talk again, peace, be well.